Hi, thanks for tuning in to High on Horror. I'm Drew.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode is dedicated to all the horror hounds and smokers out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
Today we're talking about the cosmic and experimental found footage horror film, The Outwaters. Say that 10 times fast.
Cosmic.
If you have not seen it, it's now streaming on Screenbox. We highly recommend it. We have the writer, director, and lead actor Robbie Banfitch here with us today, and he's going to spill his guts to us in an exclusive interview. I always say that, but there's actually a pun in there if you've seen The Outwaters. All that and more today on High on Horror. Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one. Found footage is about as divisive as a subgenre can be. You either love it or you hate it. Am I right, John?
Sure. No, yeah.
There's
I'm
hardly
not a big
any in-betweens,
fan of it.
right? There's hardly any in-betweens. I typically, myself, I don't like found footage films. I think I might have said this before on the podcast. I mean, I'm sure we're repeating shit at this point, but I prefer mockumentary shit, like mockumentary, like Ty West's The Sacrament, or like Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
I'm just going to cut you off. Which one of those two, if you can only pick one?
I think Leslie Vernon's the most rewatchable because it's funny, but The Sacrament's definitely a better movie. Definitely a better movie.
See, I feel like I would just pick, based on rewatchability, I'd probably pick Behind the Mask.
I'd pick Behind the Mask, but I'd be like...
I'd love to get Leslie Vernon on
kind of hurt to get rid of The Sacrament, you know?
But that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. But, I just can't believe, in movies where someone just wants to record like every second of their lives. That usually just takes me out of found footage movies because it's obvious that they're just trying to make a movie, and it doesn't seem genuine. And then the shaky shit starts, and then you start getting pixelations and shit, and so how do you feel about found footage films?
I don't like them. Move on.
No, as a whole, like you just like as a whole, like don't like this up, don't like it. Like
I'm not really a fan.
Yeah,
there's a couple films I like, but as a whole for found footage, not really a big fan.
Okay, is there any like
none of it? I don't know, because it's always like supernatural shit.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like maybe just like I don't.
Like what about the VHS movies? The VHS movies are technically found footage movies. You like some of those, right?
Yeah, I guess they are. That's fair.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Holocaust.
No, Cannibal Holocaust. I mean, that's found footage. I think you like that one, right?
Is that found footage or is that mockumentary?
Yeah. Fair enough.
I guess it's kind of both.
It's kind of both. It's found footage of a mockumentary, of a documentary, rather. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, because I said that, and I was like, well, I guess they still did find the footage.
Yeah. But
But I guess theirs isn't all the shaky shit because it's supposed to be more professionally done.
Right, yeah.
But like most of it's usually, it's always like something supernatural. Or it's never just like found footage that like somebody was recording shit and they're just being chased by like a slasher. Yeah.
And I will say that truth is that while I do I do tolerate some. It's most of the time I do walk away completely disappointed, like in found footage movies. Like most of the time I walk away going, yeah, that was a fucking waste of time.
Yeah, most times.
Yeah, well, our movie today, The Outwaters, has been said to be the biggest and most explosive entry in the found footage genre, being unlike anything you've ever seen before. Killer horror critics said, quote, maybe the closest you can come to feeling the sensation of death through a movie, end quote. And that's some big words, and we're going to talk about it in a bit. But first, let's move on to Strainwreck. I could use a smoke, could you?
Yeah, today we got some sugar cane. I don't know. I feel like we've smoked this before. If we have, I mean, fuck it, you're just going to get re-educated. If not, now you're just going to get educated. Sugarcane is a hybrid weed strain made from the genetic cross between platinum and slurricane. And I say that because slurricane sounds familiar. That's why I feel like we've talked about this. But it's 20% THC. It's an ideal choice for both beginners and experienced cannabis consumers. Customers tell us sugarcane's effects include focused, energetic, and uplifted. Medical marijuana patients often choose sugarcane when dealing with symptoms associated with anxiety, depression, and stress. It's bred by in-house genetics which is my vape. The vapes.
Oh, no shit. Speaking of which, let me hit that.
Yeah, that's I don't
What's
know.
that, bubblegum, John?
Nah, it's not the bubble gum. I feel like I'm wrong. I want to say something guava, but that doesn't sound right.
Bat shit?
Bat shit, it's guano. Yeah. But yeah, those ones are made from in-house as well. Sugarcane features flavors like grape, sweet, and floral. It's weird because it's a hybrid, but
Right.
if you look at it, it's very purple.
It is.
It has a lot of purple in it, which I guess is where people get the grape tape. Tastes like grape. I thought it said sweat, and I'm like, how's that appealing? It says sweet and floral. I misread that as sweat. That'd be disgusting.
Yeah, what's
I got that loud. What's it taste like? Sweat?
I'm good.
Tastes like John Cena's armband.
But then people start trying to break it off and start saying it's other shit. Yo, I got that booty sweat.
I got that booty juice.
I got that armpit sweat. $10. Oh, that's like the little that's dirt weed of like the booty juice weeds. It was like if you have armpit, just move on.
The dominant terpene of this strain is mycerin. I don't know what that means, but it said that Leafly would like you to leave reviews. It says if you smoke, dabbed, or consumed sugarcane, tell us about your experiences. Maybe we'll have to leave them one.
Just let them know that let them know that you had dry mouth.
That's not a symptom.
No?
Anxious, paranoid, and dizzy, but not dry mouth.
No shit. All right. Well, while you
I somehow turn off my computer and shut off my notes.
I was gonna bring up, while you take a hit of that, fucking Killer Sofa is now on Screenbox, and it's not a newer movie, but I fucking just saw it. I had to watch it this morning.
It's on Screenbox. See, when you told me that, the first name that pops in my head is Full Moon.
Dude, you'd think.
That sounds like a full moon. You said that, and I was like, "Oh, full moon," and then you were like, "Screenbox." I'm like, "What?"
Dude, 100%, you're right. And the funny thing is, like I said, it's on Screenbox, so I definitely think you should check it out. It's one we should probably watch together. Anybody who's listening, it's one of those ones where you know what you're getting into. It's ridiculous. If you're going in to have a good time, you want to watch a shitty horror movie that doesn't take itself seriously, I definitely recommend it. But the funniest shit to me about it is that it's not even a fucking sofa, it's a lazy boy. The movie's called Killer Couch, and it's just a lazy boy that basically falls in love with the owner's girlfriend, and every time she like sits in it has like erotic dreams and shit, but then when she's not in it, it's trying to eat people and shit. It's utterly
I've heard
fucking
about
ridiculous.
that. Isn't Idris Elba in that movie?
Oh yeah, Christian Bale plays the lazy
Bale's
boy.
the couch.
Yeah, he's the lazy boy. But you had something you wanted to bring up as well, right? Didn't you want to talk
Tommy
about something?
Wiseau.
Your boy.
Yeah, if you've seen The Room, Drew, I had you watch The Room.
Yes.
I'm so mad I lost that DVD or Blu-ray because Tommy does not sell that on sale. He knows what he's got. It's the only really valuable thing he's got. I mean, he hawks a bunch of other stuff. But he's got The Room, and he doesn't license that to streaming or anything. You have to pay $30 for his Blu-ray with, like, no special features on it. I mean, I fucking paid it.
And the cover is just his face.
Yeah, it's just his face over the city of San Francisco. But Josh and I saw Best Friends when Greg Sestero, hi, Greg.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark.
I got you, yeah.
He felt bad about how people were kind of treating Tommy, which is, I'm confused because Best Friends is very much like The Room, but now it's more like intentional that it's supposed to be bad.
Okay.
Which I don't know what the point was that people made fun of Tommy for that movie, so I'm going to make a movie that's also bad on purpose to like redeem Tommy.
Yeah.
But he has a horror movie coming out, Big Shark. He went real in depth with that title.
Oh, so that's what all the build-up was for? Was Big Shark? Okay, so I'm assuming it's a horror movie or an action movie of some sort,
dude, you
right?
got to see the trailer. It's so bad.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Dude, it's like somebody said, how the hell did you make a 3D shark without me having to put on glasses? It's fucking weird. The shark just completely doesn't go in the frame. Like in the trailer. It's just like, you can tell it's two different things like meshed together.
Oh my God.
I'll have to show you the trailer.
Is he like, in the movie? Does he star
No,
in the
I don't
movie?
think he's in the movie at all. It just seems like he's directing it. But
he directed it? Okay.
I mean, I've sent him an email. I'd love to get Tommy on the show. I got questions that I don't think I'll ever get straight answers to because I know people have asked him before. I just want to know where he's really from. Because he claims he's from Louisiana.
No.
A lot of people think he's from Poland. And he funded the movie The Room, $2 million. Nobody knows where this dude got his money.
That's, yeah, well, knowing where his money came from, that's the one that gets me.
Maybe it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the mob's funded it.
All right, well, let's get on into horror history, man.
Horror, yes.
This week in horror history.
All right, time for Horror Hiss. A movie we've mentioned God knows how many times on here. Outside of like Halloween and slashers, I think this is probably one of our most mentioned movies. Shaun of the Dead from 2004. I can't do it. I can't do it.
He was supposed to do it with me for you listeners out there. He was supposed to do that with me. He can't do it, but
I can't.
I love Shaun of the Dead, man. I love it.
I'll just fuck it up.
You could have been the zombie and just been like,
I think the zombie is what makes that scene.
Yeah, it does, for sure.
But, dude, we've talked about this movie God knows how many times.
Yeah, you just mentioned before we recorded that we had even mentioned it on our horror comedy episode. Yeah. For sure. That movie's like a 10 out of 10, man.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't ever try to remake that one.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Next up, it's Garbage Day.
There you go.
Silent
Plug your
Night,
movie.
Deadly Night Part 2.
Plug your movie.
You hate it, I know. 1987. Oh, Shaun of the Dead was 2004.
2004, damn.
And then we got
20 years old. Jesus Christ.
Almost.
Wow.
19.
Oh my God.
Can almost drink. Sleepwalkers, 92.
Yeah, man, I'm reserving what I have to say for this one in hopes that we cover it as an episode in the future. But it's I posted on Instagram about this earlier this week, man. It's an absolute underrated classic. Do you or your fiance Nicole like this movie? I feel like it's one Nicole would like.
Yeah, I think she would too, but it's been years since I've seen it. I really don't remember it well.
The most fucked up thing about it is, like, I tried to talk to Mick Garris about this when I met him. In the beginning of the movie, like, it's Ron Perlman plays one of the cops, and he kind of goes into the cops investigate, like, a murder, basically, in like the opening credits of the movie, or in the opening scene of the movie, rather. And there's like all these cats that are like hanging from trees, like from like nooses and shit that were like hung, and they were all like real cats. Like, he said it during the commentary. Mick Garris confirmed. He said that they were real cats that like basically people found as like roadkill and shit, and like brought to set and like strung them up in the tree.
Damn.
And I was like, that is not how it would fucking go nowadays at all. And I tried to ask him about it. He was very, very polite, but he quickly moved past that question and talked to me about other things. And he did not want to mention the cat thing.
Fair enough. And moving on here, we have The Howling from 1981.
Where does The Howling rank for you in your all-time favorite werewolf list? It's top 5 for me, but I unlike a lot of people, I like Silver Bullet more, and apparently that's sacrilegious, but oh well.
I like Silver Bullet a lot. What about Teen Wolf for best werewolf movie?
No,
I love that movie.
I like it too, but it's not the best.
I mean, number one's got to be from The Murderer, right?
Yeah.
America, Werewolf in London.
Right.
I'd probably go Silver Bullet. Dog Soldiers is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I've only watched that the one time you showed me.
Yeah, you loved it. Yeah, that shit was awesome.
That movie. That shit was good.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, yeah, I guess it'd be top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why people hate Silver Bullet so much. I watched the shit out of that as a
I don't get it. Like, I let one of my friends borrow it, and he was like, dude, I thought this movie was gonna suck based on like what everybody thinks about it. And he's like, but I think it's like my favorite werewolf movie now. I'm like, it's fucking good. Yeah. It's good. Gary Busey, like, before we went fucking Looney Tunes. It's
I can't tell you how many Saturday afternoons. There wasn't many horror movies in my house that were like family horror movies. Like,
right.
Ones that we all liked.
Yeah.
We all liked Silver Bullet in my house. Like, so I can't tell you how many times, like, on a Saturday afternoon as a kid at like 12, 1 o'clock, like after the cartoons end and they throw movies on, like when we only had like not 900 cable channels. Like that one would always pop up, and anytime it was on, like, we'd end up watching it.
Yeah. It's like a lot of Stephen King movies were what like this and Pet Sematary. A lot of shit. This went around a lot when I was younger. But no, I always really liked Silver Bullet. And dude, I'm sorry, but like I said about Gary Busey, everybody needs an Uncle Red. Like drunk or whether he was a drunkard or not, it doesn't fucking matter. He was a fucking cool uncle to Marty, man, for real. Like, hooking him up like with fireworks and shit. Like he was a cool dude.
Right, it's always awesome to be the fun uncle.
Yeah, right.
Up next, 1953, we got House of Wax.
That's one of Vincent Price's best movies, man.
I thought he was best in House on Haunted Hill, the one from the 90s. That Vincent Price wannabe looking dude.
You got me choked.
That's what she said.
Jesus.
Yeah, House of Wax is a good one. I still have not watched it. I'm sure people are like, what the fuck? But House of Wax from 2005.
Oh, what, you haven't watched the original or the remake?
No, the remake.
Oh, okay. Dude, it's good, man. But I said this before. It's not really a House of Wax remake. It's a fucking Tourist Trap remake.
Tourist Trap?
Yeah.
1986. I didn't see this till probably about 10 years ago. The Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, man, that's a classic. I haven't seen it in about 10 years.
It's so ridiculous.
But
all the
really
trauma movies are so ridiculous.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. They really are, but they're very enjoyable.
I mean, I know Joe Bob loves trauma movies, but man, like, it's not Chucky. I can't just watch it over and over. Like, I watch a trauma movie and I'm good for like a year or two. Or more if I'm watching that again.
Truthfully, watching a trauma movie is like watching like Full Moon at its absolute worst. Yeah. I don't mean to be cruel. I mean, I'll still watch it. But I'm just saying, like trauma's like the crippled version of Full Moon. That's kind of harsh to say it that way, but again, anyway.
Moving on, 1986. I love this movie. I had Nicole watch it. Nicole was like, "This movie is fucking stupid." We're talking about Critters. I fucking love Critters, man. I watched that when I was a kid. Everything. Yeah. Nicole got this fucking spaceship when they just blow shit up. She's like, what the hell?
Man, I love Critters as well. Yeah, I grew up with that was one of those VHS era movies for me. But Critters 2 was the best for me, man.
Was Critters 2...
That's the one that takes place on Easter.
I always forget, is that the one that they're in a church?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's the blonde chick with the big boobs and the Freddy Krueger thing that got cut out.
I probably watched that more as a kid than I did the original one.
Yeah.
My dad used to watch Critters. That's who I used to watch that with. And a movie I've never seen that you're still trying to get me to see, but out of boycotts, I haven't seen House of 1,000 Corpses from 2003.
Yeah, I just can't believe that movie is like 20 years old, man. I feel fucking old for real.
And then moving on here, we have what most people probably consider
the best one,
third best Friday the 13th,
the best one
after 6 and 2. And I'm talking about the final chapter, Friday the 13th, Part 4, 1984.
Best one, yeah, my favorite one,
sure.
The best one. Yep, and Knowledge Nug. This was the first movie in the. I'm just popping this up. This isn't even on my script. This is the first movie in which Pamela Anderson's full name is given. When you see the tombstone, it says Pamela Anderson. Up until that point,
Voorhees?
Pamela Anderson. Thank you for catching that.
I was like, bro, you had me so stunned. I thought I was learning something at first.
Listen, no, for real.
You said Pamela Anderson. I was like, dude, I wish you could have seen my face because I was fucking confused. And I'm like, Pamela Anderson was in Part 4? When the fuck did I miss that? And then I went, oh, he means Voorhees. And then the second time you said it, I'm like, oh, he'll correct himself on this one.
I said it twice. I said it twice.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because you said it's the first one in which first movie which Pamela Anderson's full name's used. It's on the tombstone. You said, and then you read the name again and said Anderson. Oh, that shit got me, dude. I was fucked up for a minute. That's why, because I'm so high.
Listen, that's why I should never go off script, right? No, but
you said, I don't even have this in the script here, and then called her Pamela Anderson.
Anyway. Right. Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, is the first time you see Pamela Voorhees' first name. Up until that point, she's just Mrs. Voorhees, and then in the fourth film, you see her tombstone with her first name. That is the first time that you are, like, anybody knows her name, and she was given a first name. So, there we go.
There you go. All your information about Pamela Anderson. Ginger Snaps Unleashed from 2004. I've not seen the sequel. Ooh. I actually didn't. It's all about werewolf movies.
Yeah.
I saw the original one for the first time when Joe Bob showed it last year.
And you liked it, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, well, to me, this is a great sequel, and I liked it more than the original. I would prefer this before The Howling as well. Again, Howling's still in my top 5, but
yeah, now you're talking me out of possibly finding a way to get people real mad and push The Howling out of my top 5 werewolf movies. American Psycho from 2000.
Again, wow, 23 years for this one. Christian Bale's best role, man, besides Batman. This role, it has his face on it. You know, he was amazing in that movie, and fucking hysterical performance.
What's Christian Bale's best performance besides The Dark Knight? That Patrick Bateman's a good one.
I would say The Machinist too. I forget his character's name in that.
I still gotta watch that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about from The Prestige.
No, that's a good one. Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
I haven't seen that in fucking forever.
Yeah, but that's a movie I think it's
Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, sign me up, man. And Christopher Nolan and Michael Caine, sign me up.
Michael Caine. A Scream movie, Part 4, 2011.
Scream Part 4. Okay, yeah, that's to me that's the best one besides the original. But I said all that in our Scream episodes.
That was God. Why can't I think of her name now? Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah.
What's her character's name?
Oh fuck! You're gonna put me on the spot like that?
Yeah, because I put myself on the spot.
It's not Ripley.
It's Ripley. It's not Ripley. Believe it or not, it's not Ripley.
Kirby. Fucker. Kirby.
I kept wanting to call her Ruby.
Kirby.
Yeah, in between 4 and 6 is Google, when Kirby got swollen. People thought that she could be the killer. And the best one besides the original, sure, whatever you want to say. I don't give a shit. I don't like any.
So and besides the first one, right? You're a fan of the first one? Yeah.
I love the first one. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I said,
forgot. We've talked about this. I just forgot.
You said the best one after the original. Sure, I don't give a shit. Pick whatever one you want. They're all terrible to me. I guess if I had to pick one, I think they just progressively get worse. I just go in the order they were made. We got some birthdays. We got William Sadler and the Pearl Man, Ron Perlman, on 4/13.
Oh shit! Okay, William Sadler. You know he's a classic, man. Fucking Death from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Amphy Michael Hall.
He's been in everything.
Also got a birthday coming up. Amphy Michael Hall. Anthony Michael Hall and Sarah Michelle Gellar on the 14th, so the day after.
Buffy and Farmer Ted. That's what's up.
Yeah. Fucking Buffy.
That was a nice horror history.
Yeah. So I guess that means it's time for some PPA.
Puff Puff Ask.
Yo, man. Puff Puff Pass.
All right. Puff Puff Ask is a segment of our show where we read off messages that you listeners write into us on social media at highonhorror420 and through email at highonhorror420@gmail.com and through our website highonhorror.com. We're going to read off some emails today, and I'll start. This one is from Stephanie Blue. She says, I love the show. I drink my coffee to it every week. We always hear that. People saying they drink their coffee and listen. I like that. But it says, keep up the great work. What do you think is the better plot twist? The first Saw movie or The Sixth Sense? I'm going with Saw. John?
Like I've said before, I've had The Sixth Sense ruined to me by my asshole friend when I was a kid.
That's bullshit.
But I'm see, and then objectively, I want to say Bruce Willis, but both of those, I'm just like, you never saw it coming, bro. I remember I saw Saw skipping in high school with Josh and Kenny and a couple of our other friends, and I just remember like at least Josh, Kenny, and I, when fucking Tobin Bell gets up off the floor, just went, oh fuck.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's so fucking weird because you figure like normally you watch a horror movie, you're like, oh, something's gonna happen with that guy, but they literally just let it go the whole movie.
Yeah.
And you just think he's like, it's one of those things that you're like, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. They're both so good.
Bro, I gotta be straight with you. This fucking weed is good. I forgot we were recording. I'm chilling, just talking to you, like straight movie talking to you, and I'm like, wait, there's microphones in front of us and shit. Like, hold on a second. This is some good shit we're getting right here.
But man, I'm gonna have to go Saw. I think, yeah, I'm going Saw.
Yeah, same with me. See, it took me a second. Now I'm back in the moment. Just for a second, I was, man. Whew.
That's that sugar cane.
Sugar cane, take away the pain.
Fair enough. Michaela.
I like that way that's spelled.
Michaela.
Yeah, Makayla. I like that.
She wants to know, what is your favorite car chase scene in a horror film? I don't know if it's the best, but when you say that, the first thing that pops in my mind is Death Proof.
Oh, that's good. I think of Phantasm and obviously Christine.
Christine's a good one.
Yeah, but yeah, Death Proof, that was good. Throw some name dropping Tarantino.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking more because of the legend himself, Kurt Russell.
There you go. Fair enough.
They actually made that. This is totally unrelated, but and I got it for free in the game. They made the Duke of Death in Grand Theft Auto, so you literally have the black car with like the shades.
No
and everything.
shit. Are you?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
But
dude, that's badass. I had no idea.
Christine's a good one. Maximum Overdrive's another one when I think of a chase.
I'm sure that's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick PPA.
Yeah, some pretty simple questions. I mean, it's I'm just trying to dig through and find the most fun ones for now. But let's quit shooting the shit, I guess, and head into our review.
Them Outwaters.
Yeah, let's get into the review of the Outwaters.
All right, getting into our movie here, The Outwaters. It's a 2022, as we've said, found footage horror film. The movie's written, directed, and stars today's guest, Robbie Banfitch. The film is presented as a found footage from memory cards that belong to a group of friends who went to the Mojave Desert to shoot a music video. Throughout their expedition, the group experiences strange and menacing occurrences. The movie actually starts with a panicked 911 call accompanied by visuals indicating that the four main cast members, Robbie Zagarick, played by Robbie Banfitch, Angela Bacuzzi, played by Angela Basilis, Scott Zagarack, played by Scott Schimmel, and Michelle August, played by Michelle May, are missing. The title card explains that the subsequent footage was recovered from 3 memory cards found in the desert. And Robbie's an aspiring filmmaker living in Los Angeles. He's recruited his brother Scott and his friend Angela to help film the music video for his friend Michelle August in the Mojave Desert. While getting ready for the expedition, he celebrates his brother's birthday and he surprises his mother Leslie, played by Leslie Ann Banfitch, back home. He parties with Angela and talks to Michelle about her recently deceased mother. The footage filmed from Robbie's apartment of 2 separate earthquakes is also shown.
Those fucking earthquakes are serious too. Very serious earthquakes.
I mean, we were through that one serious earthquake back in 2012. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was not serious. I think most of the East Coast was impacted by it. It was weird. I just remember I was laying on the couch and I could see stuff start swaying, and I'm swaying. First thing I thought, I've never had one, so I don't know why. I was like, am I having a seizure? This shit fucked with me. But yeah, that was crazy. The 4 friends packed their equipment and began their journey, spending the first night at a small lake. They continue deeper into the desert. The next day, they encounter a pack of donkeys blocking the road. They arrive at their final location, a small hillside area near a dried-up lake bed, and begin setting up camp. At night, the four are awakened by booming sounds and frantic animal noises that appear to be getting closer. Scott and Robbie leave their tent to investigate but find no clues. Robbie continues by himself and sees a strobing light along the hillside path. Yeah, I would not have been opening up that tent.
No, I wouldn't have, dude. Like I said, the light, like the earthquakes were big, but the thunder, like the fucking thunder in this movie, it sounded like it does not sound natural. Like that, the thunder would have scared me. I would have thought something's happening. Like this is some kind of nasty storm. Like I would have freaked out straight up. I like storms, but that thunder, when I heard it in the movie, I thought, oh, that is nasty. Like that's no good. That's no
all
good.
I think of is Cleveland. Oh, that's nasty. They continue deeper into the desert the next day and encounter a pack of donkeys. Or, I already talked about that. Jesus Christ. You are right. This fucking weed, man. The next day, the crew discusses the uncanny events of the previous evening and begin filming the video. During a break, Robbie and Michelle investigate the area where they saw a light and record high-pitched noises coming from a nearby hole, sensing something unusual beneath the earth. Yo, that shit, like, oh my god, I felt like my ears were attacked through this whole movie, man. Like, I just felt like I just felt on edge all the time. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that sound from that hole, it was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Robbie remarks that his camera battery has not gone down the entire time they've been there. And later, Robbie sees an axe at the top of a nearby hill. I would have grabbed that shit. I'm not just leaving an axe
I know.
out
I
in
thought
the
that
open.
too. I was like, well, I might need this.
It's a tool we'll use for later. The crew head to the lake bed to finish filming the video, and the sound is overtaken by noises similar to the ones heard earlier in the hole. At night, the crew once again hears the booms and animal sounds. Robbie wanders off and sees a naked man on a hill wielding an axe. That shit was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, that when you first see it, you're like, whoa, because it's kind of he sees
All you
it,
see is the
sees it in
silhouette.
passing, and then he's like, wait, goes back, and it kind of double takes, and you see the silhouette standing there. You go, oh, that's no good, and then it just runs up, and the sound effects, you're like, oh shit, yeah.
The naked guy hits a naked dude on a hill. As he runs away, the man attacks Robbie off screen, giving him a head injury. He returns to the camp, bloody and disoriented, and finds Scott asleep, but the women are all frantic.
When he shows back up in the tent and he's trying to wake his buddy up, I was like, oh man, he is fucked up. Like he was like, you could tell Robbie was fucked up. You could tell that, you could hear the blood dripping.
He leaking.
Yeah, right.
Leaking and squeaking, dog. The camera cuts to Robbie running through the desert as the two girls scream and plead for their lives. He encounters Scott and Angela both soaked in blood. Robbie escapes and takes shelter in a small ravine until morning. I don't know that I would have been able to sleep like he did.
Yeah,
but
right.
I mean, I guess you did take a pretty serious head injury, so that might have helped with it. He exits naked and disoriented and starts wandering the desert aimlessly. He finds that the area is now infested with screaming, fleshy, worm-like creatures.
Yeah, those things creep me the fuck out, man. And they're loud, too. They come at you like, what the fuck?
It sounded like some shit from Deliverance. I know it's not the same, but for some reason, they kind of reminded me of Tremors.
Really? That's interesting.
I don't know why. I guess maybe just like the worm-like thing in the desert, but like they don't operate really at all the same way. But
Right.
I don't know why I just got Tremor vibes from it.
To me, they kind of look like umbilical cords.
Yeah.
Because like there's like this thing throughout the whole movie where like Robbie keeps seeing this light in the sky, and it like turns more and more into like a slit. And to me, I'm like, is this? There's some sort of vaginal, like
I said that to you.
Yeah, there's some sort of vaginal, like referencing or what's the word I'm looking for?
Symbolism.
Symbolism. There we go. Like here, and I feel that these things are umbilical cords. I could be wrong, but you got to remember that this whole thing's taking place from Robbie, who is, like you said, has some sort. He definitely has. I'm not gonna say his brain damage, but he is fucked up, and so the part of the reason, as we'll learn, that things might not tie up so neatly is because, you have to remember, we're seeing the movie through the eyes of someone who just got whacked in the fucking head with a hatchet.
Yeah.
But,
that night he returns to the campsite to find the 2 tents covered in viscera and sees what appears to be Michelle's body. After a number of close calls with his assailant, Robbie is transported to a pool of red water by the light. He's taken back to the desert, vomits blood, and removes an unknown substance from his foot.
oh, yeah, that part was nasty.
Dude, some of those scenes towards the end, they were hard to get through.
Yeah, agreed.
He encounters the pack of donkeys and then sees a mirage of himself and his 3 friends in the past walking through the desert. He sees a blood-soaked Michelle running across the lake bed and chases her. He encounters a bloodied Scott and Angela acting normally at the campsite. Exiting the tent, he finds himself at his mother Leslie's house and then on the wing of a plane, where he sees Scott through the window. Upon returning to the desert in complete darkness, Robbie comes face to face with a large monster. The creature seems to be communicating with other similar beings in the distance. Robbie manages to escape and reunites with Angela at the campsite. However, they're soon attacked by the flesh-eating worms. The red water reappears and takes Robbie away. The camera speeds through a series of white lights and then returns to the desert. Robbie discovers a gas mask and a sign indicating that he has entered a restricted government area. He confronts his attacker, who looks identical to him. The next day, Robbie discovers the decapitated head of his 3 friends impaled on stakes.
That part fucked me up. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
I heard the flies buzzing. So I was like, oh, I know this ain't good, but I didn't because the whole movie you're waiting for an explanation, and then you just hit with bam, heads on poles, and you're like, oh, okay, okay.
He finds a large shark's tooth on the ground, which he uses to castrate himself and disembowel himself. The film ends with a shot of Robbie fatally wounded, reaching towards the sky.
Why did he feel the need to castrate himself and gut himself? We don't know. We don't know.
A lot of shit. It gets crazy, real crazy.
When you watch this movie, just know you're not expected to understand it completely. So if you can, take that, then you should be okay. But if you're one of those people that needs everything spoon-fed to you, you're going to walk away a little frustrated. I think that's happened with some people who have seen this, but I'll get to my rating shortly. Anyway, what's your rating, John?
I'm not a huge fan, like I said earlier, the found footage genre, subgenre, I guess. With that said, I like this compared to many other found footage films. To me, it's miles ahead of Blair Witch Project. I never got into the hype of Blair Witch. At least for me, it is. I'm sure there's people that still love that movie and would still consider it the best found footage. But
sure.
Not for me, but you enjoy it if you like it, cool. There's some really creepy images in this film, like I said, especially the naked dude with his dick out, just holding an axe.
Yeah.
What you gonna do when a dude comes running at you with his dick swanging and got an axe in his hand?
Running. I'm fucking running, man.
Yeah. Maybe Robbie should have ran more. Being lost in the desert sounds fucking terrible to my fat ass. I start disliking it when it gets 75 around here. I'm at my house. It's 30 degrees outside. I got the window and the fan open.
Listen. If you're in the
shit's chafing and stuff, man. Fuck the desert.
If you were in this movie, if you were in the Outwaters, the movie would have ended at about an hour long. The Hatchet Man would have started fucking killing off the friends, and you would have been Robbie when he was in the bushes, hearing the noises. That'd have been it for you. You would have never moved from the bush. And that's it. That would have been the movie. You just wait there till shit passes.
I'll just wait till morning. Be like, damn, sound like Drew's struggling out there.
You wake up, you're like, oh, it's 6:45. He's still alive. Good for him.
Shit, where was I? Yeah, like I said, there's some really creepy images in the film. Being lost in the desert sounds terrible. Hopefully it doesn't happen when I visit Josh. Hopefully he doesn't get me lost in the desert. And a dude with his cock out comes at me with an axe. Hopefully none of that happens. The film leaves interpretations wide open, which I think in the long run should help with its longevity. It's almost like I watched the thing with Quentin Tarantino recently, and he was asked about some of his movies, and he was like, I don't want to tell you everything. And like he was using, I forget what the one movie was, but then he was like, he also compared it back to Pulp Fiction, where he was like, what's in the suitcase?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I don't tell you what's in the suitcase. You make your own decision for it. I could talk to 30 different people, and 30 different people could tell me a different thing that's in the suitcase, and that's 30 different movies. And that's what makes my movies live on, is because somebody can look at it and have an answer that makes complete sense as to what's in that suitcase. Somebody else can have another argument that is just as compelling as to what's in that suitcase, and you can discuss it with your friends, and you can keep talking about it, and it becomes your movie because you decide what's in that suitcase. Whereas if I tell you what's in the suitcase, it's my movie, and I'm telling you what happened, and you just take it, and you're like, okay, and then you leave it. Whereas he said, if I leave it open, that's your movie. You take it with you, and you talk to people about it, and you're like, well, this is what I think happened. Right. And that's what makes the movie live on. Which, with this movie, I think, is maybe not to the level of Pulp Fiction, but, like, you get the point I'm making. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's so wide interpretation. Like, I just think the whole rest, to me, I just think it's all a fever dream after he got fucking bashed in the head. That's, like he's just seeing shit in the desert.
I think it's like,
and it's him dying.
It's kind of like partial reality, partial tripping, like kind of mixed. You don't know what's real.
He's actively dying in the desert.
Yeah, and he's exactly, and he's like I said, it's like basically you're trying to figure out. To me, it's what's real and what isn't.
It's not as supernatural as the reality that Robbie's experiencing is not as supernatural as what's happening. Well, no, he's just got a fucked up concussion and he's fucking gushing blood and dying.
And listen, though, you have to remember that the 911 call that we hear in the beginning of the movie, we do not see happen when shit breaks out. All of a sudden, Robbie's wounded in the head, and then the person with the hatchet or the axe, whatever it is, hatchet, right?
It's an axe.
It's axe. The person with the axe starts, hacking everybody up, and it's like that you don't hear the 911 call, therefore you know right away that everything that you're seeing is not as it seems. There's pieces missing here, obviously. Like, when did the phone call get made? Where were they when they made the phone call? Like, so that comes up, and then, like you said, he's dying and he has head damage. It's like there's a lot of things that just it's like basically a bunch of crazy shit happened, and you're seeing it through the eyes of somebody who's like not mentally capable of like putting shit together.
Classic unreliable narrator.
Right. Damn you, Robbie. No, but I'm really impressed with this movie.
I give it a 7.3 out of 10.
Okay. I'm really impressed with this movie. It did it for me. Personally, like I said earlier, I'm not typically a fan of found footage movies, but this one actually scared me. It's scary. The sheer panic and dread that is displayed on screen really gave me like a claustrophobic feeling when I watched it. And the fact that you never fully understand what happens isn't important to me. I like that mystery, and I want to know more. And I'm not mad that I don't know more. The Lovecraftian take on desert horror and found footage horror is a new one, and it's definitely one of those movies that it's going to cross your mind the next time you're in the desert, or the same way you think of Jaws when you're in the ocean. Like when you go in the desert with Josh, I guarantee you're going to think, oh, this is some Outwaters shit. You're going to see something and say that. And
I guarantee you, I'll send you some pictures. Be like, I'm in that desert. It made Robbie cut his dick off.
I was just going to say, just don't cut your dick off, brother. But
that sounds like a Josh thing.
Even if you don't like the Outwaters, you'll think, ew, remember that tentacle thingy from the Outwaters, or like things like that in the back of your mind. And you're sure as hell gonna hope it doesn't storm when you're camping in the desert. That's for sure. But I can't say that it's the closest to death that I've ever felt through a movie, but I can say that it's one of the finest examples of like a nightmare on celluloid. Like, to me, this movie is like a nightmare printed on film. Nightmares don't make sense. The roller coaster rides, just like the last hour of the Outwaters. For me, it's an 8 out of 10. I love what Robbie did with the direction and the camera work, and how the way the desert is like dark except for like the small little ray of light from his flashlight. It's extremely realistic, and the Outwaters truly does come off like found footage. But let me ask you, John, what do you think happened? Like, what's your theory? That's your theory. You'd already told me, I guess, is that you think that
I think
it's a fever dream.
He got bopped in the head. He's fucking dying and just wandering in the fucking desert.
Dying, like you said, I like that.
Like actively dying. Because I mean, I'm going way more into this probably than need, but like DMT, they talk about when people have near-death experiences, how they have these like crazy experiences because your body gets flushed with DMT. Yeah. So I think it's just him dying and his body, like he's just seeing crazy shit.
Like, yeah, totally.
And I think the other ones just got fucking murked by Axeman too. And he's just walking around with a fucking like gushing head wound. And he's just dying and seeing umbilical cords in the desert.
See, I almost try not to have a theory because I like not knowing. I do that with a lot of movies. Like, people are always like, what do you think that means? And I'm like, I don't even know if I want to know. I like that it's open and I can just make it whatever. But that's part of the paranoia and claustrophobia for me. And also, you can't help but have thoughts like trying to connect the dots of the film, though. Like, even though I don't want to know, there's still like, I wonder if this matches with this or if this is why, you know? And I saw that someone said that it's like Event Horizon, but instead of space, they find hell in the desert. I don't know how far off that actually is. I don't think it's accurate, but I think it's a cool thought, and I'd like to go with that. I think Robbie got trapped in hell in the desert.
Fair enough.
Prove me wrong. Robbie,
you have
somebody.
The quote Finn's fallen from Couples Retreat. I know my truth.
Well, we'd love to know for you listeners out there, though, for sure. If you've seen the Outwaters, please, message us, comment. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think happened? Let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it. We'd love talking about these movies.
All right. Well, I think we've done enough talking about the movie plot and our feelings on it here. So before we talk to Robbie, let's get into a quick burn and learn.
Oh.
Burn and learn.
All right. Burn and Learn is the segment of our show where we fill you listeners in on some trivia about the movie we're discussing. Due to the fact that The Outwaters is new, there's not much to learn about it, but we did pluck a few interesting ones from IMDb here. I'll start. Many of the songs on the Outwaters soundtrack predict the fate of the characters. I have not listened to the soundtrack, but I'm going to do that now.
Lisa Barlow exists in the Outwaters universe as a family friend of Julian Jackson, who is featured in the prequel short Card Zero.
All songs in the film are, how do you say that word? Diegetic?
Diegetic?
Though it is implied that the phenomena can imprint audio and images onto the footage.
The first official teaser trailer premiered in over 800 theaters before Terrifier 2.
Nice. An in-world Tumblr blog called Alive in the Dark is run by a character from the world of the movie. And okay, now we're gonna get to Robbie Banfitch here and take an even deeper dive into the Outwaters and fill you in on some shit that you won't find on IMDb. With us today, we have the writer, producer, editor, star, and director of the terrifying experimental found footage movie, The Outwaters. Welcome, Robbie Banfitch. Thank you for being on High on Horror.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
We're very happy to have you on. Oh, of course. And that leads me to my first question for you. Do you indulge in cannabis for recreational or medicinal reasons at all?
Not really. It makes me paranoid and feel my heartbeat, and then I think about mortality. So probably has the opposite effect of, than it should. If I do smoke pot, maybe once or twice a year, and then I put on Mamma Mia and watch Meryl Streep twirling her scarf on a cliffside.
There's been times I've been a little too high, and I'm like, oh man, I have to switch over to manual breathing, as I say.
Yeah, I usually do it at night and then just go to sleep if I start feeling scared.
And have you always been a horror fan?
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Yes, I have always been a horror fan since I was little. Jaws, Candyman, the Friday the 13th, and all that stuff.
All right, awesome. Well, So that made me want to ask my next question, which is, what made you want to be involved in making movies as a career path? What made you say, hey, man, I want to use a fucking camera for a living?
I have no idea. I've just loved movies since I can remember, and I've wanted to make them since I can remember. So I don't really know why, other than I loved them, and that's just what my instinct was. So I started picking up the camera when I was like 10-ish.
Oh, wow, since you were 10?
Yeah, made a lot of movies when I was in like age 10 through all the way through college. So I was always making something.
Like what, like stop motion, or like were you like doing stuff with toys when you were a kid and stuff?
I had a couple stop motion animation movies, well, like with my dinosaurs and stuff. But actually, no, I was like, there were a lot of Scream ripoffs. One was called The Druggie, and it was like I know I'm trying to remember the plot, but it was definitely chase scenes and a slasher. And I used to think that you could only do cocaine off of mirrors because in Friday the 13th Part 8, they do cocaine off of like a little like pocket mirror.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's how you do it. So like I have this huge mirror that we're doing like huge lines of sugar off of in the druggie. Yeah.
That's great. You'll have to release those someday if you ever find them. Put them on YouTube.
They're
or
all on
something.
my VHS. I have to get them transferred, and I don't have any dough. So,
Yeah, we all know how that goes. So, what do you hope to get out of this career of filmmaking? Like, what is a bucket list thing that you're hoping that you're able to achieve and leave behind?
I'm already doing what. I mean, even if I didn't get this movie into theaters or anything, I still would be happy at what I'm doing. Just I want to be making stuff and finishing things, wherever they wind up. I want them finished and available to people if they want to watch them. Bucket list. I was gonna say getting killed by a shark in a movie, but I kind of made that dream come true for myself, in a way, at the end of this one, if you recall.
Spoiler.
Oh, well, yeah.
I read that you suggested the young filmmakers to listen to commentaries and watch the making ofs because it teaches so much. What were some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from watching those?
From just the making of Open Water and having those filmmakers come to my college, and I think that has an audio commentary too that I listen to, but I definitely the making of from them. I learned that they can make a movie that winds up playing all over the country, and they just basically like did it on whatever weekend they could and had to fly all the way to the islands for a couple days to like get stuff over the course of a long period of time. So that always stuck with me. Just like get it done however you can. I also learned from that like they submitted to a bunch of film festivals and didn't get in like anywhere. And then I guess they used to submit on VHS, and someone had not. Sorry, my neighbors are really going crazy. Someone had not rewound and started the movie in the middle where like the shark stuff was. And that person who was screening the film for the festival, like, was like, "Oh my god!" and then rewound it, and that's the first festival it got into. I think it was like a Hamptons Film Festival or something. But people were getting turned off by the first part of the movie because it is unpolished and it's all character stuff. But that stuck with me. Try to get the people to actually watch your movie, and how can you do that? So for my movie, I made sure the poster was good and eye-catching, and the trailer was good and true to the movie. Though I don't like misleading trailers, so I always use quotes in context and I don't edit them. And I make sure that quotes that I use are like true to the spirit of the review. So like, learn that stuff from that.
Yeah, I have to say the trailer's like really after Drew saw it, he sent me the trailer. It's one of the best trailers like it's come out in a while. I feel like excellent job. Like it just really just hooks you into that movie.
Thank you. I actually
Agreed.
literally a couple hours ago released the first and only trailer for the companion films. So I just released that on Twitter and my YouTube.
Oh,
There's
nice. We'll definitely have to check those out after the interview.
Yeah, they come out on Screambox on the 24th and at Unnamed Footage Festival in San Francisco at the Balboa Theater on the 24th. But the trailer's on the Outwaters Twitter right now.
And I also read that you said you would love to collaborate with some of the different Real Housewives and Paris Hilton. What makes that like an appealing collaboration for you? Because it's not a typical answer you usually get from somebody.
Well, I love Paris Hilton I've always loved Paris Hilton because of Simple Life. I actually think she's like funny in a knowing way, not like laughing at her. I just think her and Nicole Richie are hilarious people. That's the gay in me. And then the Housewives. I'm not a big reality TV person. However, I do believe that Bravo does a really good job of like actually doing it well and getting real shit and not as much forced stuff. And I just happened to fall into a Housewives hole during the pandemic and got real invested in several of the cities. And so you watch people through years of their lives and then you start to like a lot of them. And I really like a lot of them and want to like hang out and make movies. So like Kyle Richards, obviously, she's in Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. You know, she's on Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. So her.
That's pretty cool. So actually, I want to go back a second though. You were just talking about Card Zero and File VL624. What can you tell us about those? Like, I know they're not out yet, but like, are you trying to? Is this like, are you doing an ongoing thing with the Outwaters where like you're gonna find more tapes and it's like showing more of what went down?
I don't know, but that's what these are. So there's the movie, which was always made to stand on its own. And then I had a couple ideas that I wanted to explore kind of like after I made the movie. So Card Zero is a prequel memory card, and it's the last memory card that my character used before I switched memory cards to the one that winds up in the desert. So that's a prequel. Okay. It's like 35 minutes, and it shows it gives a lot more context to some of the characters. It's a lot more straightforward and has a little arc. So that one's good for people who, enjoy the movie, want a little bit more context into who some of these people are. It's pretty gay, lots of pretty rainbowy. And then File VL624 is, it's an epilogue, and it's comprised of the ideas that there was all this footage that was so corrupted that they didn't even realize it was there, or they couldn't see it. So that the Mojave County Police Department hire someone to try to restore the footage, and it's basically a collection of restored footage from all 4 memory cards, including Card Zero, and that one's pretty fucked up, but it also should answer some things but raise new questions. So yeah, but they're each their own thing. Fucking wait. Very much all in the same. It's the same universe. There may be a little nugget coming after that at some point, but I'm not planning on like continuing to keep doing these. It was all basically, I had all these ideas right around finishing Outwaters and wanted to basically make them for the Blu-ray and for people who were interested in learning more. It was fun.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. I'm definitely interested in checking them out. I want to know more. I definitely want to know more. Yeah, we will. So let's go back to the basics, though. How did the idea for the Outwaters come about?
I always wanted to make a found footage movie. I also have no money, so that lined up. And then one of my favorite words, if not my favorite word, is outlands. Just like the way what it means, and I think it's like a mysterious word. And I just, for whatever reason, thought Outwaters would be a good word, but it's not. But I thought it would be. At least I don't believe it is. Anyway, so once I was like, oh, that'd be a cool word. I was like, that'd be a great film title. And then actually, like, the first ideas and images came from thinking about what the word Outwaters could mean.
Mm.
And yeah, I just was thinking about it for a long time, and it was getting clearer and clearer. And then I started making it with my friend.
Well, when you were writing it, did you have any personal, like once you understood what it was going to be and started writing it, did you have any personal like ritual that you would get into, like, or a headspace that you needed to get into to write?
No, just I'm a big procrastinator, so I just had to like force myself. Um, but no, I didn't really get into it. It's more like I'm more right. I'm constantly thinking about the movie or whatever movie I'm working on or thinking about. It's like all day. I get ideas, so I kind of write all day. But sitting down to put it on paper, it's like I make some coffee, put on some classical music, pull the ashtray over. So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if that answered.
Well, yeah, that's fine. You answered. Out of all the roles that you had in this movie, what was your favorite one? Out of all the roles you played, rather, not in acting, I mean, in everything that you've done, like behind the scenes as well. I'm betting your favorite thing that you did was editing. Am I wrong?
No, I love editing. That's why a trailer exists as of today for these two short companion pieces. I was never meant to make one, but I woke up this morning and just like had an idea and wanted to make a trailer, and so it exists now.
That's awesome.
From conception to publishing in 5 hours. 5 hours.
Damn, that's pretty quick. Yeah, I would say one of the surprising things doing the podcast is we've learned how much people really do enjoy the editing process. Now, with all the roles you had to play in the film, how were you able to kind of balance everything?
I don't know. It's just how I've always done it. And this was no different than any other movie I made with my friends. So I don't know. I just do whatever needs to be done, which is pretty much everything. So just do it. Lists and check them off and do it. The thing that's different about this, though, is I actually finished it. Like, finished it as in my plan was to make this my first, like, movie to get out in the world. Whereas all the other stuff, I was more making it to keep making stuff and get better, and I didn't feel the need or desire to submit anything anywhere. So this was the first thing I really submitted to film festivals ever, except for one short film I made in college. I submitted to like one rinky-dink New York Film Festival that I can't remember the name of, but they didn't want it. Their loss. It was pretty good.
And in the film, you have very bright scenes and then scenes with almost total darkness. Did you find the technical aspects of those shots kind of difficult to pull off?
Not usually. I knew what I was working with for the dark stuff. I mean, as soon as I turned the flashlight on in the desert, I was like, all right, well, this is what it looks like. So yes, it's realistic. And then, just figured out each shot from there. I'm trying to think of something that was like some of it just figuring out how to do certain scenes, obviously, like, and also figuring out how to one thing that drives me a little crazy in found footage films is when there's like these camera movements that don't feel organic to what's happening to the character holding the camera. Like, oh, and we're going to pan, but it doesn't, so with this, there were times when I wanted to do things, but I was like, that's not realistic. And I had to, those were interesting to figure out. And also typically I compose shots a lot more carefully, and I had to make what I was doing a little shittier than I normally would, and obviously it's like a totally different thing than making a normal classically composed shot type of movie. So those things were all interesting and fun to figure out, but difficult, just probably some logistical shit with like wind and sand blowing in my face. Like, you see dust storms in the movie because they were there.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
saw some people complain about like dirt on the lens and it like comes and goes, but like that's basically like what happens, you know. Get some sand blown at you, turn the camera off, clean off the lens, and the sand comes back, and then so I just kind of left it all in there. That's
No, I
something I
get you. So
wanted.
you
There's
were going for like realism.
yeah, there's a found footage movie called Willow Creek that Bobcat Goldthwait did, and there's this shot where there's like a little moth that flies through or a mosquito or a moth, something like that, flies through, and initially he was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna have to redo it," because then he's like, "Oh wait, no, like that's what happened, and it's found footage. It's okay that it's not perfect." So I always remembered that little piece of lesson specifically for found footage movies.
Well, with this movie being, I guess, you know, what's being called experimental, how did you pitch the film to, like, you know, your friends and the actors and and the studios? Like, how did you tell them what it was going to be about with it being such an ambiguous film?
I didn't tell them too much about the back half. I just said, I believe my pitch to my friends was, it's Blair Witch style in terms of found footage, and the pitch was I just really wanted to capture actual slice of life mundanity almost, and that really what we would be doing is within some parameters and with some backstory in mind, doing our scenes and hanging out and really taking the road trip. And then once we got out into the desert, a lot of bad, crazy stuff would happen. It would involve a lot of fake blood and a lot of camping and screaming and stuff. But I kept the details of specifically like what was happening pretty vague. I wanted them to, you know, I mean, they're my friends, so they weren't that on edge, but like I wanted them to be like a little bit, what are we doing once we got there?
Yeah, totally.
They did think I was like, they thought I hired people to like come fuck with us, but I didn't have any money for that. But
well, even though I don't understand the Outwaters, I have my theories. But regardless, the difference between this movie and other movies that I don't understand is that this movie actually fucking scared me instead of annoyed me. And to me, it's like the part where Robbie, where, you know, you are covered in blood and those tentacle / umbilical cord things are like wrapping around his arms and he's like whimpering and it's like, it's all wrapping around him and it's dark. I mean, that scene is just like, you know, total fear and despair to me. And that scene to me is like a nightmare on film. Because you don't know what's going on, but yet you see this guy in total despair and there's these creatures. How did you keep the balance of like being ambiguous but giving enough to satisfy viewers and not leaving them totally empty-handed, which a lot of found footage movies do?
Well, spoiler, a lot of the audience is not satisfied, but for the people that are, it was definitely something that I thought about, and I am not a fan. In this movie, the idea was always to try to keep it as much like, hey, if you find this footage, if you find these memory cards, there's going to be a lot missing. There might be some files corrupted. There might be something wrong with how it's put back together. There might be all these things, and you're not going to catch all the important conversations. Although I put many important conversations in subtly, but I would cut them off, and I just wanted it to be, you know, the way it might be if you find something like that. And if you're the cops looking at this or trying to figure out what the fuck it is, you'd probably be like scratching your head too. You know what I mean? So I just wanted it to be like that. And I figured, I don't know, it was a lot of editing and playing with it until it felt right to me, but it's pretty much instinctual. There's intellectual ideas that I would have like in my brain. I'd have an idea of like how to do something, but then might not work. So it just instinct. And I knew it's right when it felt right multiple times, and I would leave it and then come back and it still felt right. Then I left it in. So okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Just playing around until it felt right.
Well, it worked. And I just wanted to ask you, now that you took the found footage genre and escalated it, so to speak, by doing something new, everyone keeps comparing it to the Blair Witch Project. Does that bother you being compared to that because you were trying to do something like your own thing, or is that gratifying being held in the same regard?
Oh no, I mean it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and the thing that I did want to capture that Blair Witch does perfectly is authenticity in the first half, like in terms of the characters just seeming real and like real people. So that's very much like what I use as my touchstone, as they say.
Okay.
So no, I mean I mean when people say that, it makes me happy. I mean, I love that movie. Now, obviously, like I don't know how the filmmakers of Blair Witch Project feel about it, but I like it, and it's an honor for whoever thinks that it's like that to be mentioned alongside that movie. Though I do think Blair Witch Project is the best found footage movie ever and always will be.
Yeah, I think the realism is one of the definite bright spots of the film, but they do really just feel like real people. There's a lot of depth to the characters. I wanted to ask what you thought was the hardest shot for you to pull off in the film.
I might need to take a moment to think about that.
No problem.
Um, There were plenty. Probably, I mean, the one that's coming to my head, even though it wasn't like difficult to get the shot, was just there's a scene where I come upon myself covered in blood, naked, holding something, and it was just very cold, and I was very naked and covered in wet liquid. Wet liquid is probably like a double. I was just very cold, and it was very difficult to like, not just quit like and say fuck this shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But technical stuff, I guess anything where there's wind too much. I mean, there's definitely a lot of wind left in the movie intentionally annoying, like the camera, because I didn't want to take a lot of that out because it's just made it feel more raw and ugly. But there were some times where you literally it was so many, you just have to wait until the wind dies down, which you have no control over. So that was kind of difficult, just the waiting.
Yeah, what was the desert? Was it a big challenge? I know you said wind was a problem. Was there anything else with the desert that caused any problems with the shoot?
No, just we were swarmed by bees, but that was just one day, and we we just abandoned the desert until it got dark, and then we came back. That, and also like, it was a little scary at night, if the nights that we were camping, a little creepy, just to be there totally prone. So,
yeah, bees is not one I would have expected as an answer for a problem in the desert. That one was pretty surprising.
Well, the scene where me and And are swarmed by bees, that was happening.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we want to thank you again for joining us today to talk about the Outwaters. And besides Card Zero and File VL624, do you have any other projects coming up?
Yeah, a new feature called Tinsman Road that's premiering at the same festival the shorts will be at next week, the Unnamed Footage Festival in San Francisco. I don't know when this is airing, but the Unnamed Footage Festival in San Francisco on March 24th. So, shifting my focus from the Outwaters world to Tinsman Road and working on getting that distribution and all that good stuff.
All right, we can't wait to see it.
Thanks. I'll release a teaser trailer probably. Like a very teasery teaser, like a really teasery teaser, like not giving you anything, but like maybe what it might look like.
Just give us the logo.
Yeah.
And where online can people keep up with your projects?
For any Outwaters stuff or just the Outwaters account tweets about all kinds of horror movies, and I want to support small horror movies that I like and big ones that I like, and just keep it going in terms of horror account stuff. So that one for that, and then my Twitter's just at Robbie Banfitch, and I'll always keep people up to date through that on film projects or music projects or writing or anything they wind up doing.
Awesome.
But the Outwaters will keep everybody up on my film stuff too, as long as it's horror.
Awesome. And again, we want to thank you for joining us. If you haven't seen the Outwaters, make sure to check it out on Screenbox. And thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thank
you, Robbie. All right, as of this episode being released, the Outwaters prequel short, Card Zero, and the sequel short, File VL624, are now available to stream on Screenbox with the movie. I watched them, and I have to say that, truthfully speaking, they're not necessary. These are for the hardcore fans of movies that want to dig a little deeper than the common movie watcher, and get to know the characters more. You're not, trust me when I say you're not in the dark and missing vital information that helps explain the event in the Outwaters by missing out on these. In fact, what footage you do see really just leaves you with more questions, but I will say that they're well shot.
Well, that was true. I mean, Robbie did tell us we'd get some more stuff, but then we just have more questions.
Yeah.
But, so what you mean is they're just not necessary to experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why couldn't I think of the Outwaters? I just completely blanked on the
Yeah,
name.
you're not going to walk away going,
It's
that explains
more
what happened here.
Companion material.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like Blu-ray bonus feature stuff, truthfully.
So, if you want to check them out, check them out. Thank you to Robbie Banfitch for joining us today, and thank you to all the horror hounds and smokers out there for joining us as well. Make sure to follow us online at High on Horror 420 at TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And next week we will have Renfield for you.
I can't wait to watch this movie, man.
I
feel like it's pulling teeth making you go with me, but we're going.
It is. I've made it clear I don't think it's going to be a good movie. When I heard that they were making a Renfield movie, I was like, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. And then I saw the trailer and I'm like, fuck no, this is not what I had in mind.
Bet you like it more than Scream 6.
Is that saying a whole lot? I'll probably like it better than Halloween Ends, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll stop here before I shit on that movie some more. Fuck you, David Gordon Green, for letting him go. Damn you for letting him go. That'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next week.